Hey, today I'm going to teach you how I make my audiobooks. Yes, you heard that right. You're getting the secret sauce from the source. But before I get into that, I just want to explain to you guys why I actually started making these. Also, if my voice sounds funny, I'm a bit sick still. Yeah, I've been sick for the last few days. It has sucked. That is why I've not made hardly any progression on the next book. But hopefully, I am getting better, so hopefully I'll be able to start on that soon. Anyways, let me tell you how I came up with the idea to start making audiobooks. It all started around the 6th of November 2024, so last year. Me and my now wife were living separately. Now, this wasn't because we had a falling out or anything like that. We were basically trying to find a place to live. One being in England, one being in Ireland. Now, those that have known me and followed the channel for a while know that I'm also a parent to a 1-year-old boy called Stan Lee. Now, this was really difficult, to do. Not only was my wife in a completely different country to me, my son was also in a completely different country to me. So yeah, it was pretty shit. Now, I would travel backwards and forwards to Ireland and back home, but it started to get to me that being in a completely different country was kind of ruining my bond with my child. Now, it got me thinking about all the stuff that we used to do when we all lived together. And one of the main things that helped me with my bond with my kid was reading. So I thought, why not read a book, a lot longer than what I'd normally read to him, and make a video out of it. That way, he can listen to it while I'm away. He knows my voice. We still have that bond. So whenever I see him, he'll be able to recognize who I am. Now, this is all that I intended to do with these videos, They were literally intended to be for my son, and they still are. Now, I came across a problem when it came to making these audiobooks, and that was that babies don't tend to hold a lot of interest in something that isn't forever changing, basically. So I thought, how can I make these audiobooks a bit more engaging, Picture books. I would put a picture to every single scene that I would read from the book. That way, he's more engaged in watching it, it's always changing, and it's just more entertaining for him, And not only that, he can hear me read to him at night. Now, this worked out great, because not only was I beforehand struggling to maintain a bond with my child and also maintain a consistent upload schedule, but now I was doing both simultaneously with the same thing. It was basically killing two birds with one stone. Now, I know what you guys are probably thinking. You probably sat there like, fucking hell, man. That was a really deep story. You're not with your kid or your wife. Like, what's going on? But trust me, there is a happy ending to this story. Now, that's pretty much how I came up with the idea of making these audiobooks. Pretty cute story, right? What could go wrong with just making an audiobook? Well, it turns out they're a lot more work than you would think. Let me show you how I make my audiobooks. First, I get the book, obviously. Then I turn on the old PC here. Next, I load up Audacity. Yes, I use Audacity. If you use anything else, let me know in the comments and I'll still use Audacity. Then the magic begins. Chapter 1. Dudley Demented. The hottest day of the summer so far was drawing to a close, and a drowsy silence lay over the large, square houses of Privet Drive. After I've recorded all the chapters, I put them into Premiere Pro and get to work. Now, this is something you don't normally see, or I should probably say, hear. I mess up a lot, and I mean a lot. From stuttering to mispronouncing words.
It's way too much bother. But it's way too much bother to do every day, she said. She said matter-of-factly.
To also just straight up falling asleep reading. Yes, that happens quite a lot. I know it's hard to believe, but I am only human, I need sleep. And a lot of the time when I'm making these audiobooks, I don't sleep very well. And that's no one's fault but my own, I have this problem where if I'm doing something, anything, for example, making a video, playing a game, literally down to, lacing up your shoes, I can't go to sleep until it is finished. I find it impossible to just switch off. Now, I know that's not healthy and I am trying to change that, hence why I'm changing the whole approach to the next book I'm doing. So don't worry about that. I've got a better understanding of what I'm doing now. Anyways, once I've got everything in Premiere, I get to editing. Now with the first 3 books, it was fairly straightforward. I would just sit here, listen to the audio, take out all the mistakes I could hear, and throw a picture into every scene. Now, to find the pictures, I literally just go on the internet, I type in whatever I think will suit the scene around Harry Potter, whether it's fan art, whether it's scenes from the movie, and I just download and drag them in. Now, it sounds simple enough, but a lot of the time, some of these pictures are really difficult to find, especially just any to fit the scene in general. A lot of the time, I'm spent like just looking for pictures. So say like if I'm editing a chapter and the chapter's about an hour long, sometimes that can take me up to 2-3 hours. And that's mainly because 1, I'm cutting out all the mistakes, and 2, I'm still searching for pictures to put to the scenes. I literally listen to every single thing that I read, okay? More than maybe 30 times over. So if you hear any mistakes, trust me, I have heard them. Yes, I see them in the comments. Divination, deviation, I know. I think I get that comment every day. I heard it when I did it, and I kept it in because I could not be fucked editing it out. That is the blunt truth, okay? It took me weeks doing that video, and no way was I going back into Premiere, editing that out, redoing that, and then re-rendering it for another 3 to 4 hours, okay? Weren't happening. I fixed it in the Goblet of Fire. God. Now, normally I would listen back to the whole video in normal time speed, but when it came to Goblet of Fire, okay, that book was a beast, and it was taking me forever. So I learned how to do it in 2 times speed, and it did make it a bit faster, but it still took me about 2 months to edit the whole thing. Okay, it took me about 3 to 4 days to read the book completely whilst doing other things. I have a lot going on, but then yeah, about 2 months just editing every day, non-stop, no sleep, no watching TV, no nothing. There was nothing. It was just constant work while also working my full-time job. This is why these books take me a long time sometimes, because this isn't my full-time job. I wish it was, and maybe soon it will be, but right now I work 2 jobs, this one and another full-time job. The only day I don't work is weekends, and I say I don't work, I'm normally doing YouTube on weekends. Anyways, that's pretty much how I make the audiobooks, okay? Like the formula, okay? But there's more to this. It's not as straightforward as it seems. I run into quite a lot of problems when I'm editing these, and I'm going to tell you them right now. The first one that bothers me quite a lot is the further I get into editing these videos, the longer and longer it takes. And that's not because I'm getting tired. That's only part of it. But also Premiere likes to slow itself right down. Now, this isn't because my PC isn't good enough and can't handle, the video. It's only audio and pictures. It's literally because these files I'm doing are huge. And I don't just mean like 10 gig, 20 gig. No, the Goblet of Fire is over 114 gigabytes, okay? Now, to put that into perspective, that's pretty much the size of a Call of Duty game today. I am literally editing a Call of Duty sized file, which is insane. This doesn't just slow down the whole process, it also slows down the render, and it also slows down the upload. Oh yeah, and if you didn't realise, look how many cuts there are. Yeah, disgusting. And if you zoom in, yeah, more cuts. I would sit here and count them all for you, but yeah, I'm not gonna. The next issue that I ran into quite a lot was my computer just completely turning off. Yeah. And that would be fine if Premiere decided it would save what I was doing. Now, multiple times I've been in the process of editing a long video, okay, only for Premiere to just completely shut down, the PC to turn off, and I lose about 3 chapters worth of work. Now, 3 chapters seems like nothing, okay, but like I said, 1 chapter that's about an hour long sometimes can take me up to 2 to 3 hours. Okay, and that's because I'm looking for the pictures. So if this happens, which it has done quite a few times, I then have to go back in, redo the whole thing, find all them pictures again, okay, that I've downloaded, because I don't save them by name. I save them just as they are. It's a mess. I know. It's disgusting. I should be ashamed of myself. But that's just how I do it, okay? If the PC completely shuts off, then that's hours and hours of work that's just thrown into the bin, basically, okay? So that one's always fun. And the last issue I came across, which was a new one to me, and it happened halfway through editing the Goblet of Fire. Now, what's the main thing you guys think that you need when you're editing an audiobook? Audio, right? Well, for some reason, my computer decided it was just going to mute all my audio. And I was wondering what was going on. And it turns out what the issue was my keyboard has a mute button on it, okay? It was a Roccat Vulcan 100 AMO, okay? And it has a dial for the volume and 3 switches on it, one of them being the mute button. Now, for some reason, this mute button decided to just turn itself on whenever it felt like it. And it got to the point of me physically having to rip the key out and destroy it with a screwdriver so that I could then continue to hear the audio and continue making the audiobook. Yes, it got to that level, but don't worry, I have bought myself a new keyboard, so hopefully I will never have that issue ever again. Now look, all in all, it might sound like I really dislike making these audiobooks, but in actual fact, I really enjoy it, okay? Maybe I'm just crazy, but even with all these issues, everything that crops up, the length of time it takes, it feels like I'm accomplishing something, okay? I don't know whether you guys, whoever's watching, has ever felt like they've worked so hard on something that it just feels like a massive achievement to finish it. Each one of these books feels like that to me, okay? Not only for myself, but I'm doing this for my son, and now for all of you guys as well, which is insane. The amount of people that have come to this channel through these audiobooks, it's been it's just crazy. It's insane. I cannot think of any other word. Now, I don't think you guys truly understand, right, how much that's changed my life. I went from having maybe 1,000 people watching my videos at a push, okay? That was good to me. I was fine with that. I don't like talking about money, but it's relevant to this story. Now, I was making maybe £60 on YouTube every month. Like, £60 is £60. It's alright, but it's not going to get you anywhere really, is it? Now, since doing these audiobooks, I managed to make enough money to now live with my wife and son again. I can afford to pay the rent and all the bills just on my own. And that's all thanks to you guys. It really is. Remember I said there was a happy ending to that story at the beginning? This is that happy ending. Now, I really struggled all of last year. It sucked. It really did. Especially being away from them two. And now, everything seems to just be working out. And I just want to thank you guys for supporting me so much. It's insane. I've never had a community, okay? Just in general, I never had a community. This is the first time people have seen and appreciated what I do. And I'm all for it, man. I think we have a great community here. And I just want to keep making stuff for you guys. Making stuff that you guys enjoy. And yeah, I mean, I feel like it's going to be sad once the Harry Potter books are finished. But I have other ones in mind. For example, I'll give you one. I want to do Lord of the Rings. I think Lord of the Rings would be quite cool. I also have some other side Harry Potter books, like Tales of Beedle the Bard, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, all sorts. Okay, and also I'm going to be doing some more live streams as well of all the Harry Potter games. Obviously the channel's not just going to be Harry Potter. There are going to be other videos that I make such as this one. This is something that I wanted to make that I thought you guys would be interested in watching. But there's going to be a few things that are going to pop up on the channel that I just want to make, just for the sake of it. Okay, and I hope you guys stick with me and enjoy what I'm doing. Now, at this point, you're probably wondering when Order of the Phoenix is going to come out. Probably going to be a few months yet, okay? Unfortunately. It's just how it is. I'm not rushing myself to finish the book. I don't think it's healthy to. And I really want to bring something good to you guys, okay? I'm not rushing myself anymore. Because realistically, the less I rush, the better the content is. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed learning how I make these audiobooks, seeing how stressful it can be. And also, I hope you guys know how much I actually appreciate you. Okay? Anyways, if you liked the video, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.